All right, y'all. So we back at it. All right, we find some exciting things going on. It starts with event 4 on the one of the most exciting events probably in this going to be in this comp. This is a strength event where they have the clean, the front squat, and shoulder overhead. I forgot his name, but they got him competing. So we're gonna see what's good. All right, Heat 3. I'm just doing Heat 3. We ain't gonna go through all this heat because look, that's about an hour long. Yeah, I had a moment. I literally had a moment in my head where I was like, you know what, maybe I could do an hour. But it takes so much time between each individual to do it. So we'll just
strong, and when the barbell comes out, I believe he's got at least a 375-pound clean and jerk in his back pocket. So I think he surprised some people yesterday when he was one of 3 men to go sub 3 minutes on the 1K. But he told me, you know what? They don't test that short running in isolation that often, and I'm actually decent at that.
I don't know about that front squat. That was strong. And, that front squat looked kind of sus, but the angle
I would say easy opener at 150 with the power clean there for Douglas. I expect we saw those big jumps earlier. I expect at least a 10-kilo jump for him in round 2.
Kilos.
Yeah, we can already see him reaching for the 10s and taking off the 5, so
don't do it with the
at
quality.
least a 10-kilo increase for Jake.
There's Callum Clements, 20th at the games this year after making a dramatic come-from-behind performance on the last day of competition at the semifinal. He had a great performance on both the snatch ladder and the lunge to the finish event. Had a nice performance on the obstacle course this morning. He's got a wide array of skills. He's been at the semifinal level for a few years. Navigating this lifting event could be really critical in terms of his overall potential for the ceiling of finishes this weekend. And you see right there, not great in this press out. Similar to Douglas, the snatch would be preferable for him, but he's going to have to shake that off and make sure that lift doesn't affect his next 2.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. That's the sort of lift that just puts a little bit of doubt in your mind. And when you're Olympic lifting, you almost have to overdo the confidence.
And even the body language after that, he's got 6 minutes now to get himself back together. He's got to convince himself that didn't happen, and that he's got another opportunity ahead of him.
In my peripheral, how much he just got
no
strong
problem
squat.
there at 141, so not the heaviest opener, but a good lift on the board for Helsinghoff. And it doesn't have to be the heaviest opener. He's going to be confident coming out of that and set himself up for the next 2 in a very different way than we just saw from Clements. One of the bigger cheers on the crowd here is for Toby Buckland. As we mentioned, he lives in the UAE. He's out of the UK. And he is probably 2nd or 3rd overall on the points right now once the obstacle course gets favored in. I believe he's had top 6 finishes on all 3 events. He used to be more well known for his weightlifting. He's dropped 9 kilos since last March as he's been trying to improve his aerobic performances, which he's already done. But we'll get to see if he's still got the weightlifting. 148, nice opener. There's his girlfriend on the left. I've had a chance to spend some time with them. Very, very nice people, and also very, very committed and focused to the pursuit of being great in this sport.
Yeah, and that'll be part of the reason why he moved over here as well. It's a lifestyle that sort of allows you to focus on the training side of things. There's good food as well, which is always a bonus.
Here is Wezolowski, Games athlete a couple years ago, veteran here of the DFC. And had the lead after day 1 yesterday. Finished about middle of the pack on the obstacle course. Still waiting for a couple of scores to come in, but to get a good opener on the board there at 145.
Big numbers, yeah.
And unlike the previous year, we don't have the heaviest hitters on the floor. However, Luca taking a much more aggressive opener here than anyone else. As I glance left to right here, 160 on the bar for Luka to open things up. One thing about Luka Jukic to know as a lifter is that his best lift is probably the shoulder to overhead. And so no matter how hard the squat looks, you can usually count on the jerk being efficient for Luka Jukic, and absolutely is the case. So a strong opener at 160. Just glancing back, it's better than the entire first heat. There were only 7 people better than that in the previous heat, so already into the top 10 in one lift there for Luka Jukic.
And that's what I was talking about before with the 2 types of jerk dips. You have the slower strength-based jerk dip, That was more of the elastic, short and sharp, short dip, aggressive drive.
Yeah, Luka, nice opener here. And now here's Nika Maizaradze. Maizaradze
Nice.
is very, very good in the conditioning department. He's got some high-skill gymnastics as well. The strength is probably the biggest thing that he's working on. Strong opener for him, and I would say that, you know, for a guy who made the semi-nat final for the first time earlier this year, he had a bunch of execution there that probably prevented him from doing as well as he thought he could. And so mitigating damage on this lifting event could go a long way for a young athlete in terms of confidence going into some events coming up over the next 2 days that he should be really good at.
Yeah, for sure. It's
Oh
just
my
damage
gosh, that
limitation.
early arm bend was
Here's Jan
rough.
Arnold Finkenberg out of Germany. He has been on the warpath of competitions. This is either his 8th or 9th competition this offseason. Probably most notably took 4th at the German Throwdown. Opens with 148, and I would say amongst the guys that are opening that 148 to 150 range, that looked relatively easy compared to a lot of them. So expect a big jump for Jan. Benoit Boulanger will be up next. Canadian, the lone Canadian male in the field, alongside Annika Greer, of course. Has Caroline Lambre, been working with Caroline Lambre for several years. Great foundation, very good discipline in his training. He had quite an unusual circumstance on the obstacle course earlier. There was a kind of an error with the team running the event that they allowed him to rerun the race, and so he spent a total, he was one of the 11 men who finished.
All right, so lately I've been seeing a lot of people doing it backwards on their step in. After they split jerk it and they're in that lunge position, it's been doing it backwards and having their back leg go first. But you know what? They've been making it work, so I'm not going to really say anything.
He spent a total of 90 minutes out there. I think actually
ideally
nice for him to be the last
first
group to lift, to be able, because he was out on the course 30 minutes longer than any of the other men. And so able to rest and come back out here. Hits 140 there as his opener. It's a nice conservative opener for Benoit. But he's been one of those guys that we've kind of been waiting to see him break through on a big stage. So he's got a chance to do that this weekend. Probably one of the more experienced athletes in the field in terms of high-level competition. Yorgos Katovis is the only man in this field who competed at the Rogue Invitational last month. One of the best accomplishments of his career, alongside making the games a couple of times. And Yorgos has been dealing on and off with a little bit of a back injury throughout this entire year, but when he's healthy, he is dangerous. Nice opener there at 145 for Yorgos. And we talked about easy lifts with Jan Finkenberg. That was a very easy opener for Yorgos.
Golly, man, that quality though.
Douglas makes the 10-kilo jump here,
squat depth
and 160 in the bank.
That just looks so easy.
Pretty curious to see what he'll do on the last one. I wonder if he could have. I mean,
I'm not sure.
Those are two,
I still question that.
To me, those look like two very conservative attempts.
You know, it's hard to tell
and
because I'm watching from a camera angle.
There's a
very
few guys
borderline.
at 161,
you know what I mean?
163.
And clearly his judge approved, so we gotta go with it.
If he can hit 165, he's gonna pass by a bunch of guys.
And that's just where it is.
I wonder
that's
as
why
well
they got
then
the
you've
judges there. But
what did Braun hit? 168.
Yeah.
You've got that in your targets as well. He took a big jump, jumping up to that. So I wonder what he'll hit.
Callum Clements, the only athlete in the heat to miss, and right now this is a huge moment in the competition for Callum Clements. He's one of the guys who does have potential to sneak a top 5 or a podium finish this weekend, but getting a lift on the board right here is critical, and Clements does that. The weight, I would say here, is not necessarily important. Just doing that, getting a lift on the board, making sure you don't take a 0 into the last round. 145. Totally fine. You saw him practicing and jerk in the background and executing it much cleaner on his second attempt.
How much is 145
the
kg?
clean as well there was a much better clean. It was a cleaner clean than the rep that he'd hit for his first attempt. So that already would have given a little bit more of a confidence boost.
Helsinghoff adds 6 kilos, bumps up to 147 for a second attempt. Squats look really strong for Helsinghoff. Jerk also good. Lets out a big breath there. 147 for Helsinghoff. Eight-kilo jump for Buckland, asking the crowd to get into it. 156 on the bar. Be curious to know how big of a risk this is for Toby. Usually when you're asking the crowd to get into it, You can be a little bit nervous about that. Nice squat there for Buckland.
Yes, solid.
And Lydia there at the program and the crowd surely getting a good shot of it. 156, good for Buckland. We had Lucas Huza at 157, and you had Yuri Maranchenko at 156, so he's kind of in that neighborhood. I bet he'll go for 160 here on the last attempt. Michal Wesolowski adds 6 kilos. He's got 151 on the bar here.
Nice.
Wesolowski took the win yesterday on the FTP test, 379 at damper 10 over the 20 minutes.
And a very interesting technique, pushing his legs down with his arms.
And not the most beautiful jerk, but does press it out overhead. So Wesolowski good at the second attempt on 151. All right, Luca already good at 160. He's got 165 here. This lift would bump him past three men from previous heats. Anestis Artemis, Luis Cuellar, and Mikko Liljorg had all hit either 161 or 163.
Solid.
And, oh, man, his jerk is so good.
Yeah, it is.
So 165 for Jukic.
165.
He's
that's
already
weight.
in the
That's
third
weight.
position. He'll only be looking at Jake Douglas in this heat. So the worst case scenario for Luca here is a 4th place on the lifting event.
Damn, 363, dude.
Already likely coming in with the lead. And I know that he believes that event number 5 is his to lose. So Luka Jukic looking really good in the first half of the competition here. Maizaradze nice on the clean and the squat.
Yeah, he really
it's all
had
gonna come down to the jerk for Nika.
Oh boy, right here. You know, I give props. He really has a good clean, because you watch how the barbell just falls up his legs, and you know, see that full extension of his arms fully extended. Look at this.
So
watch this.
Luka Jukic looking really good in the first half of the
competition. You know what I mean? He
here.
jumps to his side a little.
Maizaradze nice on the clean and the squat. It's all going to come down to the jerk for Nika.
Nice.
And Maizaradze.
So for what they say he's more gymnastics and cardio. He holds it well due to his technicality and mobility to help him keep keep ahead. You know what I mean? I'm not saying the strongest ahead, but keep ahead. And, you know, staying with the group.
Hits 150.
That's not bad. I think 150.
And we were just glancing off camera there because I think
what,
Lucy's telling me that Jake Douglas has 172 on the bar. We got a few lifters to go, but Jake Douglas sneaky over there in lane number 1. But Maizaradze, he's a young athlete, and every time I've seen him compete, I saw him at Eurasia Throwdown.
Oh, never
saw him
mind.
at the semifinal. I've seen him here. He just seems like he's really becoming more experienced on the floor. It shows in the way I've seen him here. He just seems like I've seen him compete. I saw him at Eurasia Throwdown.
Nah, he always got snatch, grip, clean, like little stance. Yo, hey, but he making it work.
Saw him at the semifinals. I've seen him here. He just seems like he's really becoming more experienced on the floor. It shows in the way he moves, the way that he approaches events, and even the stuff he does between them. Jan Finkenberg, a little off balance, but hits a nice lift there. 153, adds 5 kilos to his previous lift.
That's what it is. What country?
A lot of big decisions coming up for these guys in the final interval.
Yeah, but yeah, I mean, strength with some technicality.
We saw so many 10-kilo jumps earlier. A lot of 5-kilo jumps here.
You know what I mean? Because, like, in CrossFit, it's just get the job. It's one of those, just get the job done. You know what I mean? Get the job done. If you can just stay within the lines of making, this is a snatch, this is a clean, this is a thruster, this is a chest to bar. If you can just stay within the lines of what it is, and have the strength and someone to take care of. Yeah, you don't have to be fully technically sound, just enough to get the job done. You good. You know what I mean? Ideally, you want to be as efficient as possible. But if you can just do that, stay within the minimum and get the job right, hey, you good. And that's what old boy is doing. with that early on
Another
pull
one,
on snatch grip.
145 on the bar. He's already hit 140. Benoit. Nice fast elbows on the clean. Grinds through the front squat.
Nice.
And looks good in the jerk. I think it's the front squat he's probably most concerned about.
It's so interesting to watch the guys on the floor because the guys watch each other a lot more than the girls do.
Right.
The girls all sort of either stay in their own lane, they focus on their barbell, they either talk to each other or whatever. But the guys are literally all watching the athlete that's lifting.
Yeah, they do.
Final athlete in the second round, Yorgos Katovis. Already hit 145. He's made the 10-kilo jump to 155. And I've spent a lot of time with Yorgos over the past couple years. I think that 155 for any kind of clean and jerk complex like this is something he expects from himself, but anything above that is something that's like a give or take on a certain day. So I think he'll go to 160, and it's kind
Who's
of a 50-50
content? It sounds
if
like
we get
Sporty Beth. Your mom.
Jake
Close
Douglas,
to the wrong accent.
the big man from down under, has gone for it. 172 on the bar.
Oh,
Tola
shit.
Morakinyo hit
Oh my
171 in the
gosh,
previous
dog.
heat.
Did you see how he just Did you guys see how he just cleaned it? Wow. He think twice. Look at this.
172 on the bar. Tola Morakinyo hit 171 in
looks
the
down.
previous heat. This is not only for the event win, but with only 160 on the previous
That
one,
was
this is
def-
about
that
6 or
was
7
definitely-
spots on the leaderboard that Jake's going for. It comes down to the jerk, and Jake Douglas is in the mix this weekend.
Ah, big
He
dog.
looked awesome in the partner
You
competition with
definitely prove a point with that one.
Jake Marconi at the Down Under Championships,
see
and he
you.
is off to a stellar start.
Jake.
I don't think that Luca's going to go for 173, so Jake Douglas likely to take the event win here. And I don't know if Tola is going to be like, man, should
Jake
I have done
Douglas.
172?
It's funny because I was just. It's funny because I just was listening, man, synchronicities, y'all. But I was just hearing about Jake Douglas last night because they were talking about Andrew Hill or 99. People want to do 99. Jake Douglas. Andrew Hill says that Jake Douglas, in his opinion, is natural. This is how he always been. There's a lot of people that's built like that. You know what I mean? I truly just don't care. You know what I mean? I'm at that point in my life where I don't care. You know what I mean? They in the sport. You know what I mean? It's up to the federation to figure out how that works. You know what I mean? Out of my power, out of my control. And I'm here for a show. That's why I am.
I've done 172.
And that's the benefit of being in the last heat.
Callum Clements has thrown 152 on the bar, missed his opener, much better at 145 in the second attempt. Good clean here. I think it's going to be the jerk that's going to be the separator for him.
Come on then.
Commit to it.
Oh,
Damn, man.
you just
And
saw
he has such strong positions to not be missing like that. But
that
I
right
think,
side of the box.
truthfully, let's go back. You know what I mean? I'm having too much fun doing this. I truthfully think, I'm
Commit
going
to
to try
it.
to stop it. All right, let's see. It's this. This is what's stopping him. That's his limiter right now. All right. That back leg needs to be more bent. You don't need to be straight like that. You can have your leg bent. So he's not really going under. Like, let me see. Let's do this again. Let's back up.
Commit to it.
Let me see how far his head from here. All right. So that's not too bad. I try to keep my pointer there to see how much he dropped. It's not too bad, but he could definitely drop a little more if he bent that kneecap. You know what I mean? Just slightly. You don't need it fully bent, just slightly. You know, get that slight will probably make up for this difference. You know what I mean? This difference, because you don't want to muscle jerk, a split jerk. You want your arms to be fully locked out and your legs to do all the work.
Oh, you just saw
he's
that
strong. He
right
looks
side
strong.
of the bar, of his side of the bar. Just drop a little bit more on that dip. And sometimes when you feel that sort of weight shift, it'll just throw you off when you're driving out of it.
And you know, there were 4 guys that he was attempting to pass in that lift. So that's going to be a near bottom finish for him. And it's almost definitely going to be his worst finish of the weekend. So he's going to have to shake that off and get ready for the next event. Halsinghoff, 153 on the bar.
Nice.
And he'll pass by a few guys there. Well executed for Halsinghoff, 3 for 3 on his lifts. Toby Buckland asking the crowd to get into it again. 161. He's already hit 156. This would put him in a tie with Anestis Artemis and Luis Cuellar. Panchik could hit 160, so you could potentially be passing him. Huza had hit 157. So big points on the line here for Buckland.
Nice.
Huge moment in the competition for Toby Buckland. Toby Buckland.
Nice. He had the
Luka
same
took
issue with that
strains
straight
Toby
leg,
quite a
but
bit, and Luka
you know,
actually told me that Toby Buckland is one of the men in the field that he's
truthfully, I'm gonna be real with y'all. Like in breaking down their forms and stuff like that, I truthfully don't care how they execute their movements. I just care that they execute. You know what I mean? Truth be told. Now we see a slack in the game and stuff like that. Of course, I'm gonna call it out and see what's good. You know, as far as like why there was like a struggle on the squat or struggle on the clean, you know, catching it clean or split jerk, why there was a slight struggle. But overall, man, I'm just rooting for each one of them to execute their lifts. You know, everybody has their way of doing things. You know what I mean? And there's not a perfect technique. Just the perfect technique is the one that's right for you to get the job done. That is how I look at things. The perfect technique is the one that's right for you to get the job done. All right. Difference between Steph Curry and Splash Bros. Guys, help me out here. Kevin. What's his name? God, gosh. Anyway, Splash Bros. Steph Curry and the other dude who got traded. Steph Curry does not have, in their eyes, the greatest shooting form, but he is one of the greatest shooters in the league. You know what I mean? Because he has a form that works best for him. So in my opinion, that would be the best technique for this individual, and that's how I look for everybody else. Can there be better ways of doing things? Of course, there are better ways of doing things for that suited individual, but to try to say that, oh, he doesn't have the best technique because he's doing something that you don't like,
aware of this weekend, considering him a podium threat here. I don't think many other people would say that, and a lot of people might say, well, you train with him all the time. Of course you would say that, but through the endurance events on the lift, Buckland has absolutely looked the part. Wojciechowski missed the opening part of his lift there. So our apologies for that.
We'll see the split
See if we can get the jerk here. Only added 2 kilos.
Oh.
Oh my
Guys,
goodness.
I'm telling you, I really believe because their arms are so folded like that in that front rack, that's what's that's what's making it hard for them on the split jerk, and then end up having them pressed out like that.
Only added 2 kilos.
You know what I mean? If you just have their arms more in the shoulder pressing position, it does not completely down, but just enough so you can use some tries in that play. You know what I mean? Tries and some lat action in that play was good.
Oh my goodness.
You know what? With Michael's running style yesterday, with his technique on the FTP test, you sort of wouldn't expect it, but his lifting is that sort of like he grunts his way through, where actually, you know, we're not Olympic weightlifters. It doesn't have to be
If we
clean.
can get the camera on Luka here, he's lifting. There he goes. Sorry, Lucy, just wanted to make sure we saw that. 167 here for Luka.
Oh.
All right, let's check it out, Luka.
Interesting choice.
Yes, go on.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
going for a
All
walk.
right, big
He's
man.
going for a walk.
Yes, okay.
So I don't think that those 2 kilos bumped him up any spots on the leaderboard because Braun had 168. But either way, I think that Luka will be happy with that lift. That lift for Michał Wazalowski, by the way, was massive because he'd only had 151. he matched Fedotov, Fowler, Radoslav, and Lucic at 153.
It's that form
and
that's
passed
getting him.
Gregos
Yo,
at
his form is
152 for
clean.
5 spots on the leaderboard for 2
His
kilos.
form
A
is
massive
clean.
lift for
You know,
Wesolowski,
it's
who's
all-
in the mix in this overall competition. Mazeradze goes deep into the receiver.
Yeah, he was deep. He was deep. You know what I mean? It could still been possible for him to have that one, but you know, it is what it
Deep
is.
in
Things
position.
happen.
That back foot was really
fought
twisted.
for it. And you know what? That was the kind of the opposite of what we just talked about with Wesolowski. They were both on 150. Wesolowski hit at 153. Mazeradze missed at 155, and so those 5 to 6 spots that Wesolowski gained, Nika does not. And we're talking about his competition experience as he grows as an athlete into this sport. That may be a little bit of a learning opportunity from there, because 153 would have been just as good as 155.
Oof.
Jan Finkenberg already has hit 153.
He
got
got it. He got
158
it.
on the bar here.
I think he got it. Oof.
There's a lot of re-racking there.
Yeah, right. That was
Yeah.
nah.
So he'll settle into that big pile up at 153. 5 or 6 guys now at 153 across the 3 heats. Boulanger has also made a small increase here. He's got 147 on the bar, just kind of looking back at some other lifts. This would move him ahead of Sarliotis. So he only really got one athlete that he can pass on the leaderboard here. There were a couple guys on 148. And they'll obviously stay ahead of him no matter how this goes.
Go on. Yeah.
Good save, big dog.
So hits 147.
Hell yeah.
Wonder
I'm
if he had
surprised there's not
148.
as
It would have
many
been 2
people in
more
the
guys that he
audience.
could have caught there. It's always, that's that kind of calculator risk we
One of the
talk
most
about it. How much
exciting
was he
events,
aware
yeah.
of that or not? That may have been a number that he didn't even know he could hit.
Yeah, and I think that's the thing. Like, obviously, we've spoken a lot about staying in your
Real
lane
time to
and
shine.
that sort of thing, but there is a level of awareness of what's happening around you that
All
can
right.
be those costly places.
All right.
Final lifter here, Yorgos Karovis.
Oh,
He went for 162. He doesn't get the jerk. Thought he'd go for 160, but he went for it a little bit. He's going to settle on 155. It'll cost him a few spots, but still a solid performance for him.
Yeah.
We're looking at the final heat. Luka Jukic and Jake Douglas, the standouts. Toby Buckland hits 161. Another great
Dukic.
event for him. Really 4 for 4 on
Dukic.
solid performances for him. But Jake Douglas will end up taking the win. Tola Maracanio will
Yeah.
take second. Bronislaw
Right, Dukic and Dake Douglas. I definitely know those dudes. Are familiar with those dudes. I can't say I can't, you know, because Dake Douglas been around, and Dukic actually didn't know about Dukic until that incident. So, you know what I mean? This is what it is. But yo, this is it. Event 4, we finished it. I'm so happy we caught on something good from Dubai. You know, because like I said, I was getting worried about it, but it's in men's event 4, heat 3. I wasn't going to watch the whole, nah, I'm good. I'm good. Maybe I should have, but nah, this is good for what it is. I mean, we're 30 minutes in. Yeah, we're 30 minutes in. Yeah, we're good. All right, y'all. So anyways, on to the next heats. But in the meantime, we're going to take a break. We're going to take a break. All right, stay great.